The wooden platform groaned under the auctioneer's boots as he dragged another soul forward for bidding. Dust swirled in the afternoon heat, and the crowd of men pressed closer, their eyes crawling over the girl in torn fabric. Serafina, no older than 19, stood with wrists bound in iron shackles that had rubbed her skin raw. Her green eyes burned with defiance, not fear, as she lifted her chin against the leers. "What am I bid for this fine specimen?" the auctioneer bellowed. "Young, untouched, strong for fieldwork, or other purposes." Laughter rippled through the crowd. At the back, Thaddeus Blackwood gripped the fence rail, knuckles white. He'd come to town for supplies, not this. But something about Serafina's unyielding stance stirred memories of someone he'd lost long ago. 50, shouted a fat man in a stained vest. 75, called another, grinning lewdly. The bidding climbed. Serafina's breathing quickened, but her gaze stayed fixed on the distant mountains, as if she could will herself to vanish. A man with missing teeth made a crude gesture, and her jaw tightened. 200, came a deep, steady voice. The crowd turned. Thaddeus stepped forward, his black hat casting shadows over his scarred face. Tall and broad-shouldered, his simple work clothes couldn't hide his strength. Whispers spread, everyone knew Blackwood, the loner rancher with the biggest spread for 50 miles. He didn't come to auctions. 200, going once. The auctioneer paused, but no one challenged. Going twice. Sold to Thaddeus Blackwood. The crowd dispersed, grumbling. Thaddeus handed over a roll of bills without counting and watched as the auctioneer unlocked Serafina's chains with trembling fingers. Her eyes met his, searching for intent. He offered a hand to help her down. "Can you ride?" he asked quietly. She nodded, wary. "Good. We leave now." They didn't notice the woman in black watching from across the street, nor did they see her mount her horse and ride hard toward the mountains. The ride to Thaddeus's ranch spanned 15 miles of rugged terrain. Serafina sat behind him on his stallion, gripping the saddle horn, not his waist. Silence hung heavy between them. "Why?" she asked as they crested a hill overlooking a vast valley, his ranch sprawling below like a kingdom of grass and cattle. "Why what?" Thaddeus replied, though he knew. "Why buy me? You could have any woman in 3 counties. Why spend $200 on a stranger?" He stopped the horse. "Maybe I don't want any woman in 3 counties. Serafina studied his profile, the hard jaw, the eyes carrying old pain. "What do you want from me?" "Work. Nothing more. Help with the house, the animals. In return, you get food, shelter, protection. That's the deal. And if I refuse? You're free to leave." He gestured to the empty landscape. "But it's a long walk, and there are worse things than me out here." They rode on in silence. At the ranch, Serafina noted the well-kept fences, the sturdy barn, the freshly painted chicken coop. Inside the house, everything was orderly, books aligned, pots hung in rows, but it felt hollow, like a museum of a life abandoned. "Belonged to my wife," Thaddeus said, noticing her touch a shawl draped over a chair. "Elena. Died 3 years ago." "I'm sorry," Serafina said softly. "Your room's through there. Soap and water for washing. Suppers at sundown." In her room, Serafina found a dress, undergarments, and boots, chosen with care. She washed away the grime and fear, but unease lingered. Through the window, she glimpsed movement in the distant trees. Her fingers brushed the leather pouch hidden beneath her old dress, holding a secret that could unravel everything. At dawn, Thaddeus stood at the kitchen window, coffee cold in his hands. A restless night had sharpened his instincts, honed in distant wars. Serafina emerged, the blue dress transforming her into someone new, her grace hinting at a past beyond the auction block. "You're up early," she said, accepting coffee. "Couldn't sleep." He nodded outside. "We've got company." A dust cloud rose from the mountain road. Seraphina's grip tightened on her cup. You know who's coming, Thaddeus said. It wasn't a question. Hoofbeats thundered as 40 women rode over the ridge, led by a silver-haired figure in black leather, Magdalena Cross, the Iron Mother of the Territories. Her widow army, armed and hardened by survival, surrounded the house with precision. Thaddeus Blackwood, Magdalena called, dismounting with confidence. We need to talk. Thaddeus stepped onto the porch, hand near his gun. Mrs. Cross, you're far from home. Depends on what you call home. That girl you bought, she belongs to us. Seraphina appeared in the doorway. I belong to no one. Magdalena's expression softened. Child, you've been missing 6 months. We've torn the territory apart looking for you. Missing? Thaddeus asked. Tell him, Seraphina, Magdalena said. Tell him who you are. Seraphina's voice was barely a whisper. I'm Seraphina Cross. Magdalena's daughter. The revelation hit like a thunderclap. Thaddeus's world tilted. Your daughter. The one everyone thought died on the wagon train. Very much alive, Magdalena said. What are your intentions toward her? I paid for her freedom, Thaddeus said. Work and shelter, nothing more. A younger widow scoffed, rifle in hand. Men don't pay $200 for a housekeeper. He didn't know who I was, Seraphina said. He saw someone who needed help. Magdalena studied Thaddeus. Is that true? Pure charity? No, he admitted. She reminded me of Elena. Someone who needed help that never came. The tension eased slightly. Magdalena turned to Seraphina. And yet you're wearing a dead woman's dress. I gave her those clothes, Thaddeus said sharply. Hers were rags. If you see wrong in decency, that's your choice. I'm not going back, Seraphina declared. I'm free to choose. Before anyone could respond, she pulled the leather pouch from her dress and poured out gold nuggets, each veined with green, from the forbidden mine sealed after a collapse that killed 17 men. Magdalena paled. Where did you get those? From the man who took me, Seraphina said. Jeremiah Kane. He's been working the mine in secret. And he's coming for me. The name dropped like a curse. Thaddeus knew Kane, the foreman who'd ignored warnings, causing the collapse. He'd vanished with the mine's secrets. He took me from the wagon train, Seraphina continued. Kept me in a cabin, made me cook while he mined at night. I stole his gold, piece by piece, and escaped when he was drunk. But you ended up at the auction, Thaddeus said. The horse threw me. Traders found me, half dead, and sold me to settle their debt. Thunder rolled, not from the sky, but from approaching riders. A smaller, menacing dust cloud crested the hill. Kane was coming. He's got 8 or 10 men, Seraphina said. Drifters, killers. He'll murder everyone to keep the mine secret. Magdalena checked her rifle. We can hold them off. 40 against 10. No, Thaddeus said. This is my land, my fight. I let Kane walk away 3 years ago. Not again. Kane rode up, his scarred face a testament to the mine's collapse. 9 men flanked him, hardened killers. Blackwood, still playing hero, he sneered. Hand over the girl and her gold. She's not yours, Thaddeus said. Kane waved a crumpled bill of sale. Bought her fair and square. Killed the traders to keep it quiet. Magdalena raised her rifle. You're outnumbered. Ride away. Kane laughed. Your daughter's no innocent, Blackwood. She stole her mother's jewelry to fund her little adventure. Seraphina's face paled. I took some things to see the world. I meant to pay it back. The admission stung, but the widow army closed ranks around her. Thaddeus stepped closer. Doesn't matter what she did. Matters what happens now. Cain pulled out a map case. 3 more mine shafts, richer than anything you've seen. All yours for the girl. Some widows wavered, tempted by the promise of wealth. But Seraphina poured the gold onto the ground. Take it. I don't want blood money. Her defiance unified the group. Try it, the widows said as one, weapons raised. Cain's rage erupted. I've got dynamite to blow this place to hell. Thaddeus drew as Cain reached for his gun. Their shots crossed in midair. Cain's bullet grazed Thaddeus's ribs, Thaddeus's hit Cain's shoulder. The widows opened fire, their precision cutting down 3 of Cain's men. Cain stumbled toward his saddlebags, groping for the dynamite. Thaddeus rose, ignoring the bullets around him, and fired again. The shot struck Cain's chest, dropping him dead. His men surrendered. Silence fell, thick with gunpowder. Seraphina checked Thaddeus's wound. You're hit. I'll live. He looked at her. What now? Magdalena held up Cain's map case. This gold could change everything. Seal the mines, Seraphina said. Some wealth isn't worth the cost. Thaddeus tossed the maps into the fire pit, watching them burn. Some things stay buried. As the widows prepared to leave, Magdalena lingered. She's not going with us, is she? Seraphina looked at Thaddeus. I can go back or build something new here. And you, Blackwood? Magdalena asked. Ready for a partner, not just help. Elena would have liked her, Thaddeus said. 6 months later, Thaddeus and Seraphina married, surrounded by the widow army and half the territory. They built a life of honesty and second chances. The mine stayed sealed, and in the evenings, they watched the sunset, knowing some treasures, courage, redemption, love, were worth more than gold.